Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to go over some different style of hooks and when I use what hook for what situation and what bait and why I believe it's the best choice for that. I'm going to go over three major types of hooks. Anytime you go into a Cabela's or a Bass Pro Shops, wherever, you're going to see a whole aisle of hooks. And there's a lot of specialty hooks that do really good where they're supposed to be used. But the three I'm going to give you is just a broad range, and I mean it's going to cover 95% of all the fishing you're going to come across. So the first hook we're going to start with is just a offset worm hook. It's going to look a lot like this. Okay. And the second hook we're going to talk about is an extra wide gap hook. It's going to look like this. And then we're going to go over a straight shank hook, which is also considered like a flipping style hook. Just a simple design, just a straight shank hook. Now, when I'm going to use which ones is going to determine what bait I'm throwing. Anytime I'm going to throw a worm style bait, something slender with not a lot of bulk to it, I want to use an offset hook. Okay, you can use a EWG style hook with them, but your hookup percentage is better. You're going to hold them better and you're going to get them better with this because see, as you can tell, the eye is about halfway between the hook point. So if I laid this flat on something, you can see the difference. See, I've got more gap there, more clearance. Whereas an EWG style hook, if you lay it, it's actually flat. So that fish, to get that hook, you have to get it in between this area. So when it's making its turn, it has to get more of a bite that way, where this one, if it's just ripped straight out, it's got a chance of holding. Okay, so I'm going to rig that on any type of worm, like a ribbon tail worm, straight tail worm, stick baits, Senko style baits, brush hogs, lizards, basically anything I can get this hook in and not have too much bulk at the bottom. Let's just say, okay, something I wouldn't use it in. Okay, we got a swimming caffeine shad. So see, what I'm saying is when I rig this up, okay, and say we're going to rig it Texas rigged here. Now when that fish bites down on this bait and this bait goes to slip, see, it doesn't, which this actually has a hook slot, so you could use it, but it, compared to the distance here, a lot of times your plastic will get in the way. So that's one you wouldn't want to use it on. I don't normally use them on creature style baits just because the distance, once it's laid down in there, there's not enough of it out. That's where I'm going to go over and I'm going to throw the extra wide gap hook. Like I said, anytime I can get away from a wide gap hook like this, I try to. I don't like them near as well, but I will use them for my bulky baits. You know, frog style baits, swim baits, a tube, something like this. Let's rig it up and show you what I'm talking about on it. It'll be a better example. Let's say we've got it rigged up on there. Okay, now when that fish bites it, you see how much we have there to get into the fish. So that's going to be one that you wouldn't want to throw the offset hook in. Once we rig it up, we bring it out, and then we turn back into it, you're going to see with that thing having so much bulk in it, when that fish bites down, see there's not a lot sticking out. So that's the only instances when I use a wide gap hook is just if there's too much bulk. Now, what I have the best luck in, anytime I'm flipping, pitching, Texas rigging, stuff like that, is I'm going to use a straight shank hook. I mean, look how big a bite there is. If I pull straight out, I mean, I catch this much. If I pull straight up, it doesn't matter which direction this hook goes in at, it's getting the full bite. So I'm going to rig it on, creature baits, anything like that. If I'm just throwing like a crawl style bait, something like that would be fine. And you can fish them on a lot of different stuff, but I like them more for anything that I'm flipping and pitching. So, and all you do there is when you're rigging it, you're going to rig it kind of Texas. You're going to pull it out. It's got that keeper on it, and I'm going to go right back in it, right up until the point's almost going to come out of the plastic. So it's going to look like this rigged. And when you get them on this, it's just like getting them on a jig hook. So I hardly ever lose a fish with a straight shank hook, and I hardly ever miss a bite with them, because I mean there's just so much room there between the point and the shank to get into the fish. And I'm going to show you in my next video, I'm going to go over the snell knot. And once you start pitching and flipping with a straight shank hook and a snell knot, if you're not doing it right now, your hookup percentage is going to go way up. I hardly ever get a bite anymore and that I don't catch the fish since I switched to, you know, a straight shank hook and a snell knot. So we'll go over that in the next video, but that's all I got right now. I mean, those three hooks, if you'll get those three hooks, and like I said, anytime I'm going to throw the flipping hook as much as possible, anytime I can get it in the bait, as long as I'm flipping and pitching. I don't use it a lot if I'm Carolina rigging, dragging, stuff like that. So anytime I can use this one, I'm going to use it first. And then my second choice is just going to be an offset worm hook. Anytime I can use this, if I'm Carolina rigging, if I'm dragging, whatever I'm doing, if I can use this hook, I'm going to use it. And the only time I'm going to go with an EWG style hook is when I'm throwing a bait that's just too bulky for any of those sizes. Now the sizes I'm going to get when I'm getting these hooks is going to be that 3, 4, and 5/0. Most of the time, most baits on the market, if you'll get those three hooks and those three sizes, you're going to cover 90% of the field. So I hope this video helped you guys out. If you liked the video, if you would, leave a thumbs up. It helps the channel out a lot. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you have any comments, leave them down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And as always, we'll see you next time.